Imagine, just for a second, a hunger so deep, so absolute, that a sandwich or a full buffet won't fix it. Imagine a hunger that hurts. Now scale that feeling up, bigger and bigger, and then scale it up until the only thing that quiets the pain, just for a moment, is the death of an entire planet. We often look at a villain in comics as people who want something: money, power, revenge. But what do you do when you have a being that doesn't want anything, but needs everything? Today, we aren't talking about a bad guy. We're talking about a force of nature. A walking, talking, literal destructive force in purple armor that reminds us just how small we really are. Hello, and welcome back to Marvel Echoes Resonance. I'm your host, Will, and I'm thrilled that you've joined me here today. Now, if you've been listening for a while, especially back in episode 6, we talked about the Silver Surfer, the tragic soul who sacrificed his humanity to save his home. Today, we're finally turning the camera around to look at his master, the shadow that looms over the entire Marvel Universe. We're talking about the Devourer of Worlds, the World Eater, Galactus. If you know him from the cartoons or the movies, and let's just talk about the giant cloud version, you might think Galactus is just a big alien who likes to eat planets. But the truth is so much stranger and way more tragic than that. To understand Galactus, we have to go back, way back, before Captain America, before the Avengers, actually even before the Big Bang. Galactus was an immigrant from a dead reality. In the comics, we currently exist, it's what's called the 7th cosmos, or 8th depending on which retcon we're following. But Galactus was born in the 6th. Back then, he wasn't a giant. He was just a humanoid man named Galan. He lived on a planet called Taa, and Taa was essentially the ultimate sci-fi utopia. Think of the most advanced civilization you can imagine: flying cars, zero disease, pure enlightenment. That was Taa. But there was a problem. The universe was ending. And this wasn't a supervillain plot. It was entropy, the big crunch. All matter in the universe was collapsing back into a single point. It's like the universe was exhaling for the very last time. Galan, being a man of science and action, didn't just wait to die. He gathered a crew and flew his starship directly into the heart of the destruction. It was a suicide mission, a final act of defiance against the dying light. But his crew, they died around him. But something incredible happened. The sentience of the universe, which is basically the consciousness of that reality, spoke to him. It made a deal, and it merged with Galan. As the old universe died, Galan survived, curled up inside of a cosmic egg. So, we could pause here for a second, and imagine being the only survivor of the Titanic. But in this case, the Titanic was an entire universe. Galan just laid adrift in his egg for eons, while our current universe, the one with Earth and Spider-Man and Shawarma, formed around him. And here's the first tragedy. He could have been stopped. A watcher, one of those big bald guys on the moon we talk about, actually saw the egg incubating. He saw the hunger growing inside. He knew that if this thing hatched, billions would die. But, bound by his oath of non-interference, he just watched. He let it happen. It's the real original sin of the Marvel Universe. When Galan finally hatched, he wasn't Galan anymore. He was something more. He wielded the power cosmic, a force that allowed him to reshape matter and energy at will. But that power came with a huge battery cost. He needed energy to sustain it. And not just solar power would do. He needed the specific life force energies found inside of planetary cores. He didn't wake up wanting to kill. He woke up starving. He built that massive suit of armor, the one with the big purple helmet that we all know and love, not for fashion, but to regulate his internal energy so he wouldn't explode. This then leads us to his first appearance in Fantastic Four number 48 in 1966. If you haven't read The Coming of Galactus, put it on your new reading list. Before this issue, Marvel heroes fought bank robbers or guys in goblin masks. When Galactus arrived, the sky over New York literally turned to fire. The Watcher broke his vow just to tell us we were all doomed. And the scary part? Galactus didn't hate us. What makes him so effective? Think about it like this. When you're building a house and you step on an anthill, do you hate the ants? No. You probably don't even notice them. To Galactus, Reed Richards and the Human Torch were just ants. He wasn't invading Earth, he was just stopping by for a lunch break. It took the Silver Surfer rediscovering his humanity to stop him, as we discussed in his episode. And even then, the Fantastic Four didn't beat him in a fistfight. Reed Richards had to threaten him with the ultimate nullifier, a weapon so scary it's basically the delete key for reality. It's a cosmic standoff. This brings us to the core question: is he evil? There's a famous storyline in the 80s called The Trial of Galactus. The survivor of all the worlds that he's eaten put Reed Richards on trial for saving Galactus' life in the first place. It's intense, but then Eternity, the living embodiment of the universe, shows up. Eternity reveals that Galactus is a biological necessity. He's a test. He prunes the cosmos. Without him, the universe gets cancerous with unchecked life and ancient horrors. Think of it like the Cancerverse we've talked about. So Galactus isn't a villain. He's a function. He's the forest fire that burns down the dead wood so new trees can grow. So that's the classic era, the ominous giant in the sky. But comics are a living medium, and frankly, Galactus has had some of the wildest rides of any Marvel character over the last few years. If you dropped off reading around 2020, you missed a lot. So I'm going to guide you through the chaos that leads us up to today. First, we have the Lightbringer phase, which happened in the Ultimates. And this isn't the Ultimates from, well, the Ultimate Universe, but the one that occurred in Earth 616, where Galactus was actually cured and started restoring planets. It was beautiful, but of course short-lived. And eventually, in Donny Cates' run of Thor, Galactus was actually killed. Thor used Mjolnir to shatter him and used his body as a bomb to try to destroy a cosmic threat called the Black Winter. For a minute, the king was dead. His helmet was just sitting on Asgard, acting as a gate with the Bifrost. But you cannot kill a universal constant. During the Reckoning War, the universe was falling apart again. The Silver Surfer realized they needed a heavy hitter, so he gathered the other heralds and actually resurrected Galactus. But he didn't just come back as his normal self. In one of the coolest visuals in modern comics, Galactus merged with the Asgardian destroyer armor. If you want to picture that, Galactus, the size of a skyscraper, wearing the spiky metallic destroyer armor. They called him the Destruction, and it was quite terrifying. He helped save the universe, and for a brief moment it seemed like his hunger was finally gone. He and the Silver Surfer actually rode off into the sunset to explore the cosmos. But the Marvel Universe loves to relapse, and the hunger always comes back. This brings us to right now. Galactus is back in our reality, but his threat has evolved. Remember the Black Winter we talked about? The thing from his original universe? Well, it turns out it wasn't alone. There's a whole race of them called the Enders. Currently, in the Thunder War arc, we're seeing a Galactus who isn't the antagonist, but a desperate ally. He was found in Madripoor totally drained, but he woke up and did something rare. He asked for help. Right now, Galactus is fighting side by side with the Silver Surfer and Storm, who is currently powered up by the Avatar of Eternity. You can listen to our episode to learn more about that. They're fighting the Enders. He's no longer just a hungry god, he's a soldier in a war for survival. He's fighting the things that ate his childhood home. It's a fascinating place for a character to be. He's still dangerous, he's still hungry, but for the first time in eons, he's fighting for us, because if the Enders win, there won't be a universe left for him to eat. So looking at his entire history, from being a survivor of a dead universe, to being resurrected as the Destruction, and now a soldier fighting alongside Storm and the Silver Surfer, I'll leave you with this question. Galactus has spent 60 years as the ultimate test of humanity. But now that he is fighting with us against the Enders, does that make him a hero? Or is he just a predator protecting his hunting grounds? Can a being who has eaten billions ever truly be redeemed? Or is he just the lesser of two evils? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, or message me somewhere on social media. I love reading every one of them. Thanks for listening to this episode of Marvel Echoes. I hope you enjoyed the look at the big purple giant, and next time you open a comic, think about him a little bit differently. If you enjoyed this deep dive, please make sure to subscribe or follow on whatever platform you're listening to us on. We drop new episodes 3 times a week, and we're just getting started peeling back the multiple layers that is the Marvel Universe. Leaving a 5-star review really helps the podcast grow, and I appreciate it. And hey, if you want more new reader guides, as well as a deeper dive into the World Eater, make sure you check out the link below to our website. Till next time, true believers, make mine Marvel.